So I can see definite two deals from it. I definitely have a few other people in the pipeline that I kind of knew were a little further out. But as we stand, definitely two deals this year have happened just because of I did stop it, two times, but I will admit that, after I've tried to call you 10 times, I would get frustrated and kind of fall off that bandwagon. So definitely one of my, weakest and lowest points have just kind of been the staying on leads. One of the things that I had to keep doing that was absolutely draining, I think, one, just the self talk to myself. I know that we always talk about real estate being such a mental mind game, and it truly is. So, on top of having just to kind of show up when I didn't necessarily feel like it, and really, tell myself that, listen, this needs to be hit these people 50 times. And I even had to say to myself, I've been joking that I'm not going to stop calling until I see your name in the obituaries. So I guess it really just was staying at it, even though I felt like I was being annoying. But essentially, it's not about our timing. It's about when the timing's right for that lead. So just hitting those phones and hitting those text messages and keeping engaging emails was definitely a draining piece for me. What made me come to the Rebel event, and I know that it's going to be kind of a brown nosing answer, but honestly, just you. I am thankful that I met you early on in my career. And so this is going to be kind of a shameless plug for Agent Launch as well. So, I mean, I got so much out of that program that, I realized that you don't put together anything that's shabby. And I've always gotten little nuggets and tidbits. So, I think that as realtors and people in the real estate world, we're inundated with come to this, come learn this, come do this. And a lot of times it's, over and over what we've heard. But I know that every time that I've been able to sit with you, anything that you've kind of been part of, I've been able to pick up something. So I was like, even if it's two things that I can do, I knew that it was going to be worth my time. My favorite part of the Rebel event, I think, was just being in the room with other people, I guess, like-minded folks. I mean, I think we a lot of times as being in real estate, we're sad to admit where some of our pain points are. We're afraid to admit when we're feeling exhausted or burnout with this. So, I knew that everybody in that room really wanted to be there because otherwise you wouldn't have paid for the ticket. So I just think the process of community that was in that room that day was definitely one of the best pieces of the event. What has changed for me since being part of the Rebel event? I think one, just a mind shift for me because there was validation in the room of like, hey, you're not the only one tired. You're not the only one who doesn't want to kind of go with the status quo of like what we should be doing. So there definitely was a mind shift change in that respect. I think just how I talk about real estate now and it not being so based about what I can do, but really the storytelling piece of it. I think Glenda really offered some good insight in the storytelling world of it. And I know that we're always told to do that, but I've just kind of noticed that, even talking to folks at open houses, I don't feel the need to be like, this is why our team is great. This is what makes me a great realtor. That there's a question and I can pretty much answer it now more with a story than just look how great that I am. Ooh. My favorite moment personally for me since the event, man, I think it is just, I guess, my ability, just like you said, to talk about real estate different now that it really was a different perspective on what we should really be doing, I guess, in this space. So, just the ability, I think, to push forward and make calls when that was kind of I think that's always been kind of my hang up. And it's not even necessarily about the rejection piece of it. I think for me, it is just kind of the tail chasing. So really just having a little more drive now to keep that phone going, to keep engaging pieces of content, via text or email, and just learning that real estate is a lot easier to talk about when that's not what the conversation is focused on. So again, hated, I guess, making, chasing the clients, but what, we have been able to do in our team since the event is we have implemented some cool kind of AI tools. So in our CRM, we actually have a AI assistant who now does a lot of the chasing for us, since that was kind of a sticking point for our team. So definitely now I still have to hit the phones and I still have to follow up, but there's now somebody who can make those 50 annoying calls before I need to get on. So, just again, a mind shift change for us, because since majority of my team was there, which was really great that it wasn't just me hearing it, that 90% of my team was there. So we were able to, convince our team lead that this is a good tool that we can use, especially since this is kind of a hang up for us. And, a lot of the leads are coming in just from pretty pictures. So it's nice that the AI assistant is kind of, filtering through these folks. So it isn't the draining part of, making 50 touches to somebody right now. So I will say 2 definite transactions I can equate to Revel. There's 2 or so in the pipeline. And again, it's just because of how I'm talking about real estate now. So where before, like, someone may come into an open house and, like, we know that they are looking to buy something, and you're kind of giving the typical spiel of, this, like, I'm great, I'm this, we have this accolade, we've sold $45 million this year. But just being able to meet clients where they are, tell stories that make sense to where they are, has now led to deals coming in with these people that otherwise I think my conversation was just like any other realtors in the house. I definitely have a few other people in the pipeline that I kind of knew were a little further out, but as we stand, definitely two deals this year have happened just because of, how I'm talking about real estate now. If somebody were to ask me if Revel was worth the time and money, I would say absolutely. It is, like I said before, we're inundated as real estate professionals to come here this, come here that. And I mean, I feel like there's only so much more information that people can give us about make the phone calls, do this, do that. But no, it definitely was. There were definitely tidbits about it. I really appreciated your portion, Ryan. And, it was a little more of like the spiritual side of like where you kind of are in real estate, where you've come, where you're going with this, and kind of like how you're servicing and helping clients at this point. So I by no means want to make this sound like it was like a religious thing, but like I said, it's such a different mind shift I think what a lot of us needed to hear, because it is such a mental game that we're playing here in real estate. There's not many other jobs where somebody else messes with your paycheck. I mean, we're truly one of the only, folks. I mean, the cliche thing is that we wake up unemployed every single day, and even getting into contract or working with somebody, they can fall out any minute. So, I mean, I know how to ruin my own paycheck. I don't need somebody else to do it. So it was just I think the encouragement from everybody who was speaking. And a lot of times that's just what we need. So I need actionable things that I can do and implement, small and easy things. But I think everybody still kind of needs a cheerleader or a coach. So I mean, I would like to think that I have an athletic mindset. And there's one thing, you can sit in a gym all day and shoot baskets, but if there's nobody there who's saying, hey, good job, you've improved, you've done this, you've done that, a lot of I mean, your mindset just kind of stays stale and stagnant. So I think it was a very good mix of the kind of mental and emotional support that's been missing in a lot of these talks, programs, seminars that we go to, and true just easy implementation. And I think people truly showing you. There's one thing to be like, hey, we got this great newsletter, but when you personally put up your newsletter, show me what you're doing in order to prep it, showing me how it's really going. Those are the pieces that really make it worthwhile.